Check this out, guys. Denver is basically collapsing. I'm not even joking when our boy Elon Musk is going on Twitter saying that it gets worse every single day. And to have Musk reply on this migrant situation in Denver means it's probably at a critical level. Now, here's the thing about Denver, right? Check it out. Is it big? Maybe. Compared to Chicago? Absolutely not. Compared to New York, it's a tenth of the size. Denver has taken in almost 50,000 migrants. Denver, no offense, is really just a bigger version of suburb. Sure, it has a pretty downtown, has amazing skyscrapers, but the moment you get out of their CBD district, it's just little houses, suburban homes. It's not an economic power. It's not a financial hub. Denver doesn't really have as big of an economy than Chicago, Miami, or New York City. New York City and Chicago are already buckling under the migrant crisis. Denver, if you check out the amount of migrants they have, it's on the same number as Chicago, whereas Chicago has triple the Denver population and way more funds. Whereas Chicago could burn 200, 300 million with ease, Denver will probably go broke. And this is why people are really, really frustrated, because Denver is like one of the only sanctuary cities where they're actually firing off federal employees because they literally can't pay for them. You already have a woman saying that, look at Denver, 40,000 immigrants. We think they only cost $1,000 a month for housing. By the way, Denver is super expensive. Where in the world can you find $1,000 a month for housing? That's $500 million a year, and that's just on housing alone, not including security, not including healthcare, not including food, education, and all the other small itty-bitty stuff that goes into the migrant crisis. I don't think Denver can handle this sort of traffic, which is making everyone really mad. Everyone in Denver, including the surrounding neighborhoods and cities like Lakewood and Aurora, are all saying, why did Denver even do this? Denver government is already going all out on the migrant crisis, spending every single penny they have, whereas fleecing taxpayers and also firing off employees. Denver has decided to put the comfort of migrants over safety, schooling, and employment for Colorado citizens. And that's really it, right? Nobody is happy with the current Denver mayor, Mike Johnston. Now, what's really crazy right now is Denver is literally laying off city employees. They're saying that they're not laying off employees, but when you're an employee at like the Parks and Rec Center or the DMV and your hours get cut to zero, that's basically saying you're fired without giving you the letter, of course. 0 hours. How are people going to pay for their kids' education, their rents? Denver is super expensive, right? And 50% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. So when are they going to get the next paycheck? We don't really know. Are they getting anything to subsidize it? Maybe a prepaid debit card? No. So I really feel bad for these employees because now they have a huge headache. They have to go to other places and find jobs. It's just no one's happy right now. Everyone is super mad at the mayor. And this is why Denver is now cutting services in response to the migrant crisis. That's costing the city almost $200 million. And so far, Mike Johnston, he's backtracking on a lot of these things, closing down shelters. Not because he wants to, but I think it's because they're literally running out of money. When you have the same amount of migrants as Chicago, but your GDP isn't as high as Chicago, of course your city is buckling. And the scary part is when you close all these migrant shelters, where are the migrants going to go? They're going to live on the streets. Denver just became one of the biggest homeless population cities in the U.S. just by playing the migrant crisis. Denver basically collapsed itself in one swift move within just a few months. Nobody asked for the migrant crisis. I personally did not expect Denver to become a sanctuary city because it's just, frankly, not big enough. It's really not that big of a city. It's super tiny. It's 700,000 people, and you take in 50,000 people. See, I would have thought maybe Seattle or San Diego, or maybe even Louisiana, will probably go all out for the migrant crisis. Like New Orleans or maybe Baltimore or Philly. But it was Denver that went all out for the migrant crisis, and they are paying a very heavy price for it. Employees losing their jobs. You have migrants being kicked out of shelters and sleep on the streets. Denver, right now, many people who thought about investing it are now backtracking billions of their own money because Denver has now become a sanctuary city. It's okay to be a sanctuary city if you have just the correct number of migrants. For example, Denver, with their smaller hospitals and their lower population, I think they could probably only handle 1 or 2,000 migrants. Maybe at the very most, if you want to push it, 3,000 migrants. But after that number, you start really eating away at your budget. They've already cut hours to the DMV. They've already cut hours to their budgeting. They're going broke right now. And I'm not even sure if Denver could even get that money back. And a lot of people who lose their money and lose their jobs in Denver, they frankly just leave. It's not looking so good for Denver right now.